Today on the podcast, we have Abby Dahlkemper, one of my oldest friends, defender for BFC in the NWSL. Abby is a 3-time NWSL champion, a 4-time NWSL Shield winner, 2019 World Cup champion. Abby, most importantly, is dog mom to Bobby and Betty. About halfway through this NWSL season, Abby was traded to BFC from San Diego and led BFC to the club's first ever playoff appearance in their first year in the league. Abby, welcome to the women's game.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I know it's been a little while, but I'm so excited to chit chat.
I know. I'm literally so excited to talk to you. And this will be coming out a few days after we are reunited at Lynn's wedding.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh.
So excited.
I'm so excited to be in California, to see you, to see all my friends, to dance the night away.
I know. Same. Plus it'll be in LA, and isn't like the pre-party like a pickleball party?
Oh my God, was such a perfect thing to bring up. Yes, there's like a pre-night before the wedding party, and it's pickleball, and it's going to be so fun.
I know. Because I texted Lynn like, I don't know, like a week or two ago and was like, what's the, they have like a pre-celebration, whatever. I don't know what it's called, like the day before the wedding, and like a welcome party or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, it's like at the pickleball thing. And I was like, oh my God, I completely forgot. So I'm like, do I pack biker shorts?
Well, we literally need to talk about that. I know that you and Aaron, your husband, have played pickleball a lot.
Yes, Aaron actually, so my husband like had to retire from soccer a couple years ago medically, just kind of similar with your knee, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he picked up pickleball, and now he like somehow miraculously can play singles like really well and like move the court well. I know it's like a smaller court, but he did like ranked tournaments in California. So he's like, he won at like 3-5, I think. So he's a little player.
Okay, well, I have been playing with Pat a little bit. I can really only play doubles. My knee is pretty wonky out there, but like I do my best. One time I like wore my knee brace. It was like such a scene. I'm not going to bring it this weekend, but I can play doubles. Like I'm definitely not the best, but Pat, like my husband Pat, really loves it. And maybe him and Aaron are going to be just, what if they're partners? Like, what are we going to do?
They really should be partners, because I think that like, when you're like with your husband, you're like playing and you mess up and you're like, sorry, like you feel horrible and that they're mad at you and you're just like, what? Like I tried.
Oh my gosh, that was the like most fun pickleball foray I can even imagine. This all will have already happened by the time everybody's listening to this, so I'll try to tell everybody about it in the intro to this episode. Okay, Scrubbers, the other thing I want to talk to you about is our days in Man City. We have an old group of friends that we called the Pit Crew. That consists of you, me, Rose Lavelle, Georgia Stanway, and Kira Walsh, and you're officially the fourth of 5 members of the Pit Crew to come on this podcast, The Women's Game. So I want to we're missing Kira.
Oh yeah, you got to get her
This is me
on.
calling her out.
Yeah.
But I do just want to talk quickly about our days in Man City. Like when we went to England, it was like 2021. It was COVID. What do you think we like struggled to adjust to over there? Like, what's your memory of us 3, you, me, and Rose, just kind of being like, what's going on with this?
I think like we just were like out of our sorts. Like I feel like even to like drive to the facility, I was like, oh God, like I couldn't help you because I didn't know which way to even look, like to make sure we could cross the road and drive and everything. But I think it was like such a cool experience, just like having us 3 together and being able to like experience new things and a completely different culture, new soccer. I mean, the team was awesome, and just like being able to play, like say you played in Europe and played in Champions League and all that was amazing. But yeah, like I feel like everything was different, and you just were like living by yourself and just being like, good luck.
I know. The driving like makes me think of a clown car. Like you, me, and Rose just like piling into this little car, driving on the left side of the road, trying to go around a rotary. Like it shouldn't be legal to just like bop over and like put 3 American girls in a car giggling and like trying to figure it out. But the thing I was also going to bring up was I remember when it started to get like nice out in the spring and we would all just like want an iced coffee and we'd like go into the coffee shop and they would just be like, oh yeah, like we don't have any ice. And we were
Oh
like,
yeah. Or
what
like
do you
one of
mean?
us would get like the last cube. They'd be like, we have one more cube for the day. And we were like, oh.
And like obviously we wanted like large iced Americanos.
Oh yeah.
So like they were just like, we don't have enough ice for 3.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, like one person got iced coffee and the rest got hot Americanos. We were like, oh shoot.
Oh my God. Well, those were literally the days. This is so
I
fun
know.
catching up. Abby, just for our listeners who are like, how do these people know each other so well? Abby and I have played for the same team for so long. We started playing together in college at UCLA in 2011.
Yeah, but before that, Sam, we played like a couple like youth camps and stuff. But
We
do you
did.
remember doing your like official visit together at UCLA?
Yes.
Like Melissa was there with you.
Yes. And you know what I remember about it actually was like they kept saying to us like that your class is going to be so good if you guys all just like commit or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember you being like, oh, like I'm going here. Like we like
Yeah.
all need to go here because we're going to be so good. And then we all did. It was like you, me, Megan Oyster, Rosie White, Sarah Killian, Caprice Didasco, Caitlin Rowland, Allie
Yeah.
Courtnall. Who am I forgetting?
No, like literally that was like Kylie McCarthy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we had a really good team and yeah, it was so fun. Those were like some of the best times and memories. And then we won a national championship.
We did. We won a national championship in 2013. We actually have a fan question for you, Abby, from Take Me There 55, who asks, what's your funniest, most memorable moment with Sam?
Oh, wow.
Appropriate, I might add.
Appropriate moments. Funniest, most appropriate moment with Sam. I mean, I think honestly, like, I mean, it's not like a funny moment, but I feel like just like our journey during the 2019 World Cup and like some of our like flip outs in our room, like, or like not even flip outs, just like emotional, like just crying and just being like,
I know.
I hope we can win this next game. Like, we want it so bad. I think just the process of that and just like the memories that we made there and then to be able to be like, we did it. Obviously, we have like hilarious, fun, like college memories and like post-college memories. I feel like I would not be playing soccer still if I didn't have you at Western New York with me. Like, we went to Dunkin' every day and we
Oh
were
my
just like,
God.
this is our thing.
This is our thing. I know. I actually remember being in Western New York with you and it like snowed and you were kind of like, what are we like supposed to do? And I was like,
Yeah.
well, we just have to go to practice. Like it's just
Yeah.
snow. But you were like so thrown off by that. And then wait, I was also going to say, do you remember when I was trying to close the curtains in 2019 at the World Cup? And I like Hulk ripped
Yes.
them down out of the wall. And then we were like,
Yeah.
how are we going to sleep with the light
Yeah.
shining in? I ripped the curtains out of the
Yeah,
wall.
we literally needed to call maintenance because like you broke the windows. Like we were like,
We have so many silly little memories like that because we just played
No.
together for so long.
I know. Well, like remember even like this is actually a really funny memory. And you'll die. But remember, we were on the road. I think we were playing for Western New York still, and it was like Kansas City. And remember, like we forgot to turn in like the game ready, and Kaylin walked into our room, and you
Oh my
and
God.
we were both still asleep, and you were like, "Who's there? Like, what's happening? Oh my gosh!" And I literally was just like went like this, and then just was like,
Okay, wait. I need to give a little bit more detail on this. So Abby and I were separating from the rest of our club team because we were going to national team camp and the team was leaving on a really early flight. But I had the game ready or like the Normatec legs,
Yeah.
some team equipment in my room from the night before and I was supposed to turn them in and I forgot. So Caitlin Rowland, who's leaving with the club, had to come get them to bring them back home. So she gets a key from the front desk. One,
Yep.
I'm sorry. Why did the front desk give her a key to our
"Security
room?
breach."
Security breach. That was ridiculous. Comes in and grabs the Normatex, and I am in dead asleep, and I sit up, bolt awake, and I go, "Who is it? Where am I?" And
Kaylin had to talk you off the ledge, and then I literally
Abby
like,
opened one eyeball. She did not care at all. She was
I
so
know.
dead asleep.
I know. That's probably concerning.
Caitlin was just like, Sam, it's fine. It's me. It's Caitlin Rowland.
Yeah.
I'm just grabbing the legs and I'm leaving. Goodbye. And I went, ah!
But we just like, yeah, I mean, you
I
reacted like
panicked.
someone had come into our room and I was concerningly
I know. Thank God you had me
then. No, I know.
asleep and awake.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to get into the interview, but this was like literally walk down memory lane. This is like the highlight of my whole day. Okay. Very serious, everybody. What I want to talk to you about, Abby, is your time in the NWSL over the last couple of years. So you joined San Diego in their inaugural season in 2022, but unfortunately, I know you were injured a lot that year. And you actually ended up needing to have surgery on your back. And as we've clearly established in this time, like, of course, I remember your back bothering you throughout a lot of our years of playing together. So I was hoping that you could just chat us through the injury. I know it was a couple of years ago that this all like kind of went down, but could you just start with like when you started having back pain and how you knew something was like getting worse?
Yeah, so like you've known this, but like in high school, I don't know, diagnosed, I guess, with like spondylolisthesis, which happens often in like athletes that play soccer or like football and stuff like that. But basically, like a vertebrae had like my L5S1 vertebrae had like slipped forward. So it was like, okay, yeah, like just rehab and rest, whatever, and you can play with that. So fast forward from high school into 2022, which is what, 11 years? No, more than that. 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
So just playing on a back with spondylolisthesis for a long time, I think like, and the amount of games and minutes and wear and tear on your body, it caught up to me and I like started getting really bad sciatic nerve pain and it was like so specific down my left side. I thought, it was my hamstring for a while because it was coming down my leg. And it was just bugging me, my back and my leg. I felt like I couldn't sprint. I was like, oh, this, really sucks. I think we were at camp together in like 2022. It was January. And so that whole year I was trying to be like, okay, how do I manage this? I'm, doing exercises, rehab. I got probably like 4 or 5 cortisone shots. I had epidural, like just everything that
Yeah.
you could think of before like surgery was needed. But it just seemed like nothing was helping. And I feel like we know our bodies best. And when you're like, I know something's not right, but like so long story short, after like multiple injections and MRIs, I was working with the spine specialist and he actually happened to be in San Diego, which like written in the stars meant to be, and he was great. So I ended up needing surgery because I was like, I can't, I'm playing at 75% of like what I have. And it's so frustrating. And
Yeah.
I feel like I either like need to fix this or like, I don't know, try and figure something out. So they went into surgery not knowing how bad it was. Basically, like my L5S1, like the two vertebrae like had like blown up and there was bone fragments hitting my like nerve root and all this stuff because of all the wear and tear on my back and all this stuff. But the way I was laying in an MRI machine, like they would have never seen
Seen
that. I
that.
had to been in flexion for them to have seen that.
So like thank God you
Yes.
got it.
So 5 hours later, I had a 5 hour surgery on my back, and it's a fusion, so it's plate and screws, and I have like kind of no L5S1 anymore. It's just like fused together. So that was a really, really hard surgery to come back from, but I mean, I'm doing way better. I can play again. It's different than what it was before because it's like a fusion. But I just feel like the moral of the story is like trust your gut. Like
Yeah.
you know your body best and like advocate for yourself. And had I not gotten that, like I don't know if I could be playing anymore or like up to the level I want to be playing. So yeah, that was a really major surgery and it was like hard to get back from.
Wow. So you had that surgery in
fall of 2022. So it's been like 2 years.
Okay. Okay. And when you say it's not the same as it was before because it's a fusion, does that just mean like you have like less mobility?
Yeah, like less mobility. I think in the beginning when I started playing again, I kept getting these reoccurring hip issues. And that's because the L5S1 is like so low to the like lumbar spine, and
Okay.
the lumbar spine's connected to like all the hips. And I don't want to like sound like a doctor and know what I'm talking about, but just my mechanics were different, right?
Yeah.
Because I had like less motion down in my lower back. And it was frustrating because, like my back felt so much better and I was working and focusing on that. And then you'd get like a strain in
Right.
your
Right.
hip, a strain
Right.
in your inner hip muscle that you're like, I didn't even know I had six inner hip muscles.
Yeah.
So it was like really, it's hard to come back from a major injury. And you know that because then you just pick up like little things along
Yeah.
the way and you're just like, oh,
Yeah, that's always like the most frustrating part is when you're coming back from injury and your other muscles or
yes,
even joints or something have become detrained and then
yes,
like randomly you'll pull your calf and you're like, "What?" Like of
yeah,
all things right now I'm coming back from this other huge thing and now my other calf hurts and it's just so
yeah,
frustrating.
yeah. And it's like all probably like mechanical
Yeah,
stuff.
totally.
And you're like, cool.
That is, I don't even think I knew all the details of that. That is so crazy and incredible that you have come back as well as you have. And I do have here that when you came back from that injury in August of 2023, you made, I mean, despite this sounds like it was a really hard thing to come back from, but you made the NWSL Best 11 for the month of August in your very first month back.
That's
Does that, does that even like sound right? Like, did you feel good right away?
like I don't know. I feel like I like felt fine, but when you like are away from soccer from so long and you're like, "Oh, do I like know how to like
Yeah.
am I just going to pick it
Yeah.
back up or whatever?" So I guess I just got back on my bike and started just biking again. I was like, "Okay, this is like familiar." So, and I think too like when you're just so happy to be back on the field and enjoying it, then like you'll probably play better or
Yeah.
you'll have like more, I don't know, fight and grit and all that stuff. But no, that's so funny. I don't even know that that happened, but that's cool that I was able to do that.
Well, it was so I was just like looking some stuff up to prepare for this interview and it was so interesting because I think in a lot of like conversations around injury it takes players a few months to kind of get back into form and I just found it so cool that you had this really major injury in rehab but when you came back it seemed like you were just like ready to go and firing on all cylinders and I was just curious if you credited your quick return to form to anything in particular about your rehab or who was training you or your team or anything at the time.
Yeah, I think I had an incredible PT, Katie, and she's actually with the national team now. And they're so lucky to have her because she's awesome. Like, just helped me so much. Like, owe her literally firstborn probably, but no, she was incredible. So I definitely think having like an awesome PT, a good plan. I feel like as athletes, like you want to plan, you want structure, routine. So like just totally like grasping like what I have control of that day and just like focusing on nailing rehab or hitting this goal or, getting back on the field. So I think it just rehab allowed me to just maybe be more present, work on, things I needed to work on, like body wise or
Right.
strength and all that and get back on the field. And of course, like you're excited when you aren't able to, play the sport you love, you're excited to be able to have the opportunity to play again. And I think it's just a different perspective now. And so, yeah, I think I just credit the PT.
Yeah.
The Wave were like amazing and so supportive, which like just thank them and medical and everything like that. And then, yeah, they just progressed me into kind of a quicker, because usually it's like 9-ish months. And it was probably like 7 months I was back, 6, 7.
So you came back, you were in great form. San Diego ended up winning the NWSL Shield in 2023, which was an incredible accomplishment in only the second year of the club existing.
Yeah.
I know that 2024 wasn't the easiest for San Diego for a multitude of reasons, including the fact that they lost you in August to Bay FC, which is actually your hometown team. You're from the Bay Area. And I just want to talk a little bit about some of the reasons there were for you to make the move to Bay. Like, what is it about what Bay FC is building that has made you excited to play there?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, like I'll always hold a special place in my heart for San Diego, like, first player signed there. They invested in me. They really wanted me, and I just feel like I have such amazing memories making history with San Diego. And that was just amazing to experience that and like be on the West Coast because I'm from, the West Coast. But I think for me, just the opportunity to go home, play at home in front of my friends and family, like means so much to me. And just the familiarity with that, I think was definitely like piqued my interest. And I think, when the Bay announced that they were coming to the league, I think they really made a point, and I think they continue to make a point to kind of push standards like on and off the field for like other teams in the league. And the player care that they provide on the Bay FC is just like incredible. And what we started from to what it is now is just like night and day difference. So I think just for me, the opportunity to be home and to play in front of my friends and family, like I feel like in a professional athlete's career, you don't really get to do that very often. And I think it's just was like is so special to me. And I think like representing the Bay means so much to me just because I know that I was in the Bay when I was young and looking up to, Marta playing on Gold Pride and like being able to be like, wow, there is an opportunity to play at the next level and to, dream big and, make all these huge goals. So I think those were some of the, reasons why I wanted to make that move. And, I just didn't know when I would be able to, and it worked out in the summer, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, talk about like being excited to get to go home and play in front of your friends and family. I think this was away, but you scored a goal 7 minutes into your Bay FC debut, which is like, I mean, you're also a center back, so it's like so sick and cool that this happened. Can you just talk us through the goal and try to like take us inside the moment? You're on a new team. This is your first game. What were you feeling and what happened?
Yeah. So like everything happened pretty quickly. Like, obviously mid-season trades are like a little, you're like, oh, wow, okay, I gotta
move.
Like, I gotta hitch it up to the Bay. And so we were playing away in Portland. I had played 45 minutes against Barcelona with the Bay. So that was like also nerve-wracking too.
Yeah, and that was just like an exhibition game. That was
it was an exhibition game, but I
okay.
also was like, okay, like I need to, it's a new team. You want to, prove yourself and, all that. So, we played away in Portland, and that's always like a big game to play away in Portland. Their crowd and atmosphere and quality players, and you have to mark Soph Smith and Weaver and Sinclair. So, I just couldn't even believe it. I think it was like off a corner.
Yeah.
And then like it got recycled, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to hit the back post and, just hope that the ball gets there. And Dorian played a great ball in, and I could not believe it. When you just black out, you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because and I was just like so excited. I was just like, wow, written in the stars, baby. Like, let's go. And
Bay
then we
till
ended
I
up
die.
winning. Yeah, Bay till I die, like just Bay FC. And we ended up winning, which was important. So it was really, really cool and like so special. And I'll definitely like remember that moment for a while.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, you had like such a positive influence on Bay FC this season, who ended up making it to playoffs for the first time again in a club's first year. This is such an incredible accomplishment. We have another fan question for you from mfrenchie66, who asks, how were you able to integrate so quickly into Bay FC and help create so much improvement in the team?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think first and foremost, being able to like be home and be like, oh my God, I like my mom's like stopping by, and like my brothers are here, and my dad and everything like that. So just being comfortable with the area, I think, having one of my best friends, Caprice, like be on the team, I think she helped, give me the lay of the land and how things go. And I feel like I almost like shadowed her for 2 days just to like know where the medical room was and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But Albertine, the coach, Montoya is our head coach. I grew up, playing for his wife, and he was always at the fields and had the older teams and stuff. But I think just familiarity with, some of the people on the team, the
Yeah.
coach, being in at home, in that environment that I know. I think I was just able to try and focus on like being myself and helping in whatever way that can be. And I think, as an expansion team, it's hard, just in general to find, your identity and, mesh with the players and get the team, rolling. So I think, yeah, I just tried to be myself and like fall back on like helping how I could, if that was, leading by example, talking, communicating, all that. And I think just I also was like enjoying it and I was really happy. And I think that that makes a huge difference too. So the fact that I was able to help the team like win games and make the playoffs was like really, really special.
Yeah. You scored another goal against North Carolina and it resulted in a win, which was a huge 3 points for Bay that helped ensure your entry into playoffs. Your playoff game was a difficult game, but it was so close. You lost to eventual finalist, the Spirit, in extra time on an unfortunate own goal. I'm curious what that game was like for you. And if I know losing sucks and like I hate to be like turn it into a positive, but was it like kind of reassuring that like this is Bay's first year as a club in existence? You came in seventh in the league, but you belonged in playoffs. You barely lost this game. Like, how did that feel? What was that playoff game like for you?
It's exciting, right? And I feel like you never take for granted any game that you get in NWSL. And, it's such a competitive league. But I think, it was special for the group to really have this like self belief and the belief in each other as well to be like, no, like we belong here and we're good. And I think as an expansion side, you're going into it being like, we have nothing to lose
Right.
because, we weren't even expected to be in this position that we are. So I think just being able to have that experience under our belts now, as a team and individually and as a team, I think will just be so important. But I think, yeah, like when you're going into a game, you're an underdog and you kind of have this like nothing to lose mentality. It's like kind of a cool spot to be in because everyone's already kind of written you off. So you're like, well, why not us,
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, I think we were in that game for yeah, all of it. And it was unfortunate that we weren't able to close that game out. But I think, it's going to be a huge lesson like going forward for the team just to be like, okay, that's like the standard. And like we need to raise that's our minimum and we need to raise that, and we need to, shoot for that and continue to just like evolve. And I think it'll be cool too because like this preseason, like we're already starting from somewhere.
Yeah.
And but I think, it stunk obviously to lose, but I'm just proud of the group and proud of how we like performed and, we gave it our all and we tried. But next year, I think, yeah, it's going to be really exciting for us.
I know. It's such a great foundation to build on. I mean, I know, again, the loss is never easy, but it was such a win for the club to make playoffs this year. Do you have any goals, whether individually or for the team, for Bay, for next season?
I don't know. I feel like goals sometimes is like hard to set because then it's like what if you don't make a goal? But I think just for us it's just like the evolution of, okay, this is our second year. What how do we want to play? Like what's our style? What's a consistent lineup that we can put out and, kind of
Right.
add in, attack and whatever we need. But I think as far as goals, like just building off of what we did last year, I think, and, progressing there. And it's a competitive league, right? So you're always dealing with, a top attacker, all that stuff. So I think just building off of last year and trying to do
Yeah.
better than last year.
Yeah, I think, and I agree that like setting specific goals can be hard because you want to focus on the process. I think something that's really cool about being a part of a club at the beginning, which you did experience this past year, is, and I remember you and I played, we moved from Western New York to North Carolina together, and we were like in that room in North Carolina. And we were like, this is the first day of this club. Like,
Yeah.
we are going to have an influence as to like how the culture of this club gets created by the players and what it feels like 10 years from now to be a part of the Courage. And I feel like it's such a cool opportunity to be in that room with the players, be there that first year and say like, this is what we're capable of. This is the culture we're creating. And we're
Yeah.
all a part of like how we treat each other, how we talk to each other, what our standards are as a group. And that will kind of like last as the culture of this club. Did you feel that way when you got to Bay?
No, completely. Yeah, like I agree. I think culture is like huge, and I think it's
Yeah.
so cool that, like you said, you like you're on the first page, like you're writing,
Yeah.
your story, and you have a say as to like how it's going to look, what you want to, live by. And I think then it's kind of like creating habits, right? And like just creating like a standard that
Yeah.
you like abide by. And I think it's cool. Like I wasn't there on the day one of
Right.
Bay, but I think just to have experience in the inaugural season and have like hopefully a positive influence on culture and standard and all that, I think is really special and important. And then like to continue that and to build off of that next year is like something we'll look to do as well.
Okay, we just have a couple of like fun, quick ones from fans. This one is actually our Olipop gut check of the week. Jessica M. Getty asks, if you could bring any player to join you at Bay FC, who would it be and why?
Woo!
I know.
It's hard to not say Chewinga or Banda. They are so talented. They're so good. Both players, I mean, they have different qualities, but they really helped lead their teams to have a
Successful seasons,
successful
yeah.
season. So I would probably say maybe Chewinga.
Yeah, I like love that answer. I'm a huge Temwa Schwinga fan. I have been raving about her all year. Okay, SNG243 on X wants to know, you're from the Bay Area. What has been the best part about moving home?
I think just being around family and being able to like go and see them on an off day or
Yeah.
have them come over and yeah, just being able to do that while still like playing professional soccer is
Yeah.
incredible.
It's like the best of both. Okay, D Sullivan 7476 asks, what's your favorite Bay Area restaurant?
Ooh, Cafe Baroni's, I think I would say. Uh, it's in Menlo Park, and they just have like the best, like they have this frosted mocha like drink that's like incredible. It's like literally like a coffee milkshake basically. But they have just like farm to table, just baked goods, egg
Oh,
plates, bakery stuff. I'm just like, oh,
what's it called again?
Cafe Baroni.
Okay, I love that. I want to go.
So good.
Okay, last question. Stacy Beth wants to hear more about your family's olive oil farm.
Oh, okay. So,
Wait, is it called Dahlkemper Farms?
yeah. So it's my dad's like hobby, and he owns land in Carmel Valley, and he just like on his property or whatever, he has like over I don't even know, like maybe 600, 700 olive trees, which is like beautiful, but it's like a lot of maintenance, right? But they're like harvestable olives and they make olive oil from it. And my dad, of course he's going to say this, but I think it's true, but he got like the olive oil graded and tested, and I think it's like the highest quality you can
It's really
have
good.
and get. Yeah, it's like A plus. I'm like, nice, Dad. But yeah, so we actually just had the harvest I don't know, I think like the day after Thanksgiving or something. We missed it, but yeah. And then from there, like he sells locally to like little markets and stuff, and then they do online too. But no, it's I think it's fun hobby for him. And growing up, he like kind of lived on a farm and did
Yeah.
land stuff, so it's like little reminiscent for him.
That is so fun. Wait, so can
Yeah.
people buy it online? They just go to Dahlkemper Farms and buy some
Yeah,
olive oil.
literally, yeah, people can buy it online, and it actually, like, surprisingly is such a good, like, gift to
Oh
give
my
too
God,
because
yeah.
yeah, because olive oil, like, good olive oil is, like, nice. Like, you don't realize, like, what you are missing until you have good olive oil, and then you're like, "Oh, wow."
Oh my God. Well, catch me at dahlkemperfarms.com. Scrubbers, that's all I have for you.
Thanks, Sammy.
That was so fun to catch up. I can't
Yay.
believe we remembered that story about the Kansas City hotel.
Oh my gosh. I was going through all the, yeah, all the memories and I was like, no, no, no. And I was like, yes, I can say this one.
Well, I'm like so grateful that you shared with us so much about your back, about your move to Bay FC. I'm so excited for you. I feel like when you moved back to Bay, I was like, oh, like this is gonna be so awesome for her. You're watching you succeed there and lead there and just be like ingratiated into the team so quickly was really fun to watch from the outside. So I'm really, really proud of you and thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks for having me.